everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today we will discuss about nuclei. So, last class we have studied about atom, where when you consider an atom, inside the atom the central portion is completely of positive charge, and that one we call it as the positive nuclei. Now we need to understand about the nuclei. So like what questions will be asked based on that nuclei. So the very first thing when you consider, if you consider the atom, inside the nucleus protons and neutrons will be there, and around the nucleus electrons revolve in different orbitals. Fine. When you consider, these are the three fundamental particles which the atom is made up of. There are so many other fundamental particles also, but we will not consider them at this level. Only these three. Now when you consider such atom, in the atoms we have seen that the size of the radius of atom, size nothing but radius is of the atom, angstrom, nothing but 10 power minus 10 meter. But here the size of the nucleus is lesser. It is in terms of Fermi meter, that is of the range 10 power minus 15 meters. Now when you consider this general atom, the general representation of nuclei is ZXA, where X is atom, where Z is number of protons or electrons. Always protons and electrons are in equal number, and A is number of protons plus neutrons. Then A minus Z will give number of neutrons. And when you consider an atom, its composition may be like the Z always remains same, but A keep on changes. Like, see 1H1, 1H2, or 6C12 or 6C13. So these kind of compositions are possible in case of nuclei. What is the difference here and here is, here both same atom in same atomic number, but number of neutrons are different. Here 6, here 7. So based on this composition of nuclei, we divide the nuclei into three types. So what are the three types? So based on that also, sometimes they will ask the question like, see here, first thing what we should understand here is, when you consider Z is same, but A is different, then we call it as isotopes. So example just now I have shown 6C12, 6C13. Now A means same A but different Z. That means just like 6C14 or 7N14. Atomic number is different but mass number is same. Or sometimes A is different, Z is different, but A minus Z is same. This we call it as isobars, and this we call it as isotones. So isotones means just like 6C14 and 8O16. Here also 14 minus 6, 8. Here also 16 minus 8, 8. So 8 neutrons, 8 neutrons. Such kind of compositions are available for a nuclei. Isotopes, isobars, isotones. Now, when you consider any such atom, so the composition we are telling there are three particles, fundamental particles. Now all the atomic masses we measure in terms of AMU, atomic mass unit, where 1 AMU is 1.66 into 10 power minus 27 kg. So this is the atomic mass. Atomic mass of the means the unit of atomic mass is, that is 1 atomic mass unit. How much it is? That is equal to this much of kg. So that the mass of proton is 1.0076 and mass of neutron slightly different, 1.0086 AMU. So even though slight difference is there, we take approximately same mass of proton and neutron. Mass of proton and mass of neutron we always take approximately equal. Let's take something m. Then when you consider a atom ZXA, the total mass of nucleus equal to A into m. Here A is number of nucleons, because here one nucleon means the particle which is inside the nucleus, proton and neutron. So each mass is m, so that the all nucleons mass is A into m. This is nucleus mass. Now based on this, if you understand, the next question comes, what is the size, volume, density of the nucleus? Any nucleus is there. Suppose if you consider a ZXA, one atom, one nuclei, then size means radius is proportional to A power 1 by 3. So the very first kind of question usually they can ask based on this, like comparison based question. The ratio of radius of two atoms, that is A1 by A2 whole power 1 by 3, or else here proportionality constant is R0, that R0 is 1.2 or 1.4 Fermi meter. So Fermi meter means 10 power minus 15 meter. And the size of the atom when you consider, that is 10 power 5 times size of the nuclei, because this is of the order 10 power minus 10, this is of the order 10 power minus 15. Thus is the difference in the size of radius and atom. Now based on this, they can ask you what is the density of a nucleus. So density of a nucleus means mass by volume, any nucleus. Let's see whether it is different for different nuclei or same. Now when you consider mass, so mass means A into m, total mass, where m is mass of either proton or neutron. A is total number of protons and neutrons. Volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. R cube means r naught cube into A, because r is r naught into A power 1 by 3, r cube. So A get cancelled, then 3 will go upside, 3m by 4 pi r naught cube. R naught is a constant, 4 pi is a constant, 3 is constant, same for every atom. M, mass of proton also same for everything. So the density is same for every nucleus, no change. So this is the formula for density of a nucleus. So this is the basic data you need to understand. So based on this basic data, the question may come. So remember all the data and understand whatever we have discussed. Now the next thing is based on binding energy. So what is binding energy? When you consider a nucleus, there is a mass, the nucleus mass, actual mass. But here these many nucleons combine together to form this nucleus of this much of mass. Now you take, suppose here Z protons are there. So what is the total mass of protons? Z into Mp plus A minus Z neutrons are there. A minus Z into Mn. This is the total mass of the neutron. So this is the total calculated mass of the nucleons. If you add the mass of each nucleon, then this much mass should come. But when you compare with this one, this is slightly greater. Suppose this is 20.2 gram, this will come some 20 grams. So there is a slight difference will come always. But these many are combining together means like 1 kg, 1 kg, 2 kg, 3 kg, all you combined means the result should be 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, like that it should come. But here it is not coming like that. That's why here what they said is there is a loss of mass when the nucleus is formed, and that we call it as mass defect. Mass defect. And Einstein said that every mass is equivalent to some energy mc square, and if you take 1 AMU mass, the energy equivalent is approximately 931 or 933 mega electron volt. So what they concluded is when so many nucleons combine together to form one nucleus, there is a loss in mass in the form of mass defect, and that mass will be storing as equivalent energy. So that is called binding energy. Binding energy means the energy equivalent to the mass defect of nucleus. That means this is the actual energy which is binding them, all of them together, so that they are like strongly bounded. They are together. So the energy needed to break them into separate individual particles, that is called binding energy. Or the energy due to which they are bonded together, we call it as binding energy. And this is the bonding energy of all the nucleons. Now binding energy per nucleon means total binding energy by total number of nucleons. This is the binding energy per nucleon, one nucleon, and this binding energy curve will be there. Once please check it and understand how the binding energy curve varies. Like one point I will tell you. Till mass number, so A less than 30, A greater than 170. This range and this range all are having less binding energy, and this is the range having greater binding energies, and in that ferrous maximum 8.75 mega electron volt. That is the maximum binding energy per nucleon, and that is more stable. And these elements, the greater than 170 whatever is there, we call them as radioactive elements, where they try to undergo decay process and they try to become stable, and based on which usually every time they will ask one question, very important one, that is based on radioactivity. That we'll understand after just this. Now when you consider the first thing, binding energy, how the question will be asked is the binding energy formula they will ask, means based on delta mc square. They can give any atom ZXA. So they will mention mass of proton, mass of neutron. Then you can do it. Otherwise same binding energy for a nuclear reaction what they will give is, so here one reactant is there, here one product came, like 1H1 plus 1H1 equal to 1H2 plus 1 something. So when there is a reaction like this, the total binding energy of the reactants minus the total binding energy of the products minus reactants, we take that separation difference, that is called the energy released in this process, in this reaction. So based on that also they will ask questions. I will show you, I will give the example also, so that you will understand it better. So the next kind of question they will ask based on binding energy of a nucleus, or binding energy, or better to say Q energy released, Q value or energy released in a nuclear reaction. And in that nuclear reaction there are two things, that is fission and fusion. So based on these two reactions they can ask the question, where fission means one big nucleus will divide into two nucleus so that they become stable. So this is fission, where the fission reaction takes place, the fast moving neutron, high energetic neutron hit with this unstable radioactive element, then you will get this one, like uranium breaks into barium and krypton. That equation you try to remember it. So that equation we call it as fission reaction, where approximately 200 mega electron volt energy releases. So which principle we will be using in nuclear reactor, nuclear power plant. So they keep on going on so that so much of energy will come, and of course they try to control the rate of reaction and everything according to you have studied nuclear reactor. But now for the purpose of entrance, nuclear reactor is not important, but it is a device, a setup, a power plant where the energy which developed or produced from the fission reaction can be utilized in producing high energy, so that will convert the water into steam. That steam will rotate the turbines so that can generate the electricity. So that is nuclear power plant. Also, this fission reaction they will use in atom bomb. So in the construction of, in the making of atom bomb, the principle what they use is fission. So your part is just remember the equation 1 which is given in your textbook as, so that how the question will come and what basis question will come, that I will explain when we discuss the numericals. Now the other thing, fusion, when you consider, fusion means here small nuclei combine to form one big nucleus. So when small nuclei should combine, then there is a repulsion will be there. To overcome that, we need to provide some energy. That's why some extreme conditions where they can get the required energy, then only the fusion is possible. And this fusion we use in hydrogen bomb principle. But they will say like the fusion is the reason, that is why the sun is continuously burning, means their fusion is going on continuously, so that the energy is coming from the sun, means their energy is coming in the form of heat, and that is evolving and traveling to the various parts of the universe in the form of radiation. So they are expecting, they said like that. Now based on this fission and fusion, what is the question usually they will ask is number of fissions, number of fusions required to release the required energy. That is the one frequent question. So power equal to energy by time. If E is the energy released in one fission or fusion, then N fusions are required, so that N into E by T. So that how much mass we should consume, how much mass should undergo fission reaction, or how much mass should undergo fusion reaction. So based on that questions will come, like one reaction this much of mass needed, then N reactions means N fissions should happen, means how much mass. So such kind of questions they can ask. We will discuss 2-3 examples based on that. Now after this, as I said, the last and final part, that is based on the radioactivity. Now let us discuss about the radioactivity means when there is a radioactive decay process, one process is alpha decay, based on which question can come. That is ZXA, one atom undergoes alpha decay, means it emits alpha particle. Alpha particle means helium plus plus. So that's why here 2 protons are coming out. So the atomic number decreases by 2. And 4 nucleons are coming out. That means the mass number decreases by 4. And similarly, when you consider beta decay, another one, there are 2 possibilities, beta minus, beta plus. Here only I am clearing. If they mention only beta, take beta minus. If they mention specifically, then take separately. But if they mention beta decay means, don't consider beta plus. That means beta minus only in the question. Now beta minus means electron will emit. Beta plus means positron will emit. Both are similar but opposite charges. So that when an atom ZXA emits, suppose beta minus, that is minus 1 E0. Here the atomic number increases by 1, but mass number remains same. If it emits beta plus positron, then the atomic number decreases by 1, but mass number remains same. So based on this, the question can be asked based on alpha decay and beta decay. That example also I will explain you. So but what is alpha decay? Alpha particle will emit. Z decreases by 2 and mass number decreases by 4. And beta decay means either electron or positron. Beta minus or beta plus. Beta minus means atomic number increases by 1. Beta plus means atomic number decreases by 1. But in both the cases, mass number remains same. So that is the one thing. Now here, based on this decay process, there is a radioactive decay law. That is, consider at T equal to 0, there is a radioactive element having number of atoms N0. Now what happens after that? That is the birth. That is the time of birth, initial time. Now what happens is slowly one by one particle undergoes decay process. One by one undergoes decay process. Now after time t, the number n will become n0 into e power minus lambda t. How we derive this one is, here the rate of decay dn by dt is directly proportional to minus n. Why minus n? Because here n value keep on decreasing. So here the proportionality constant is lambda, where lambda is called disintegration constant. What is lambda? Disintegration constant. So dn by dt is minus lambda by n, minus lambda n, where dn by dt also called as A, that is radioactivity, or simply you can take activity. So this is the basic equation. That means when there are some number of atoms in a radioactive element, one by one undergo decay process, and after some time some number of atoms left undecayed, that number is n, where n0 is initial number, that is at starting point. Now here lambda is disintegration constant. So based on this equation, question can be asked. But here one formula we can make, that suppose at one instant, not from the beginning, at one instant number of atoms are n0. Now the time taken to reduce to half of the initial value or half of the present value, or from n0 by 2, half means n0 by 4. From n0 by 4 to half means n0 by 8. The time taken we call it as half-life. Time taken to reduce the number of atoms undecayed to half of the initial or present value, that is called half-life. So here based on half-life, see, n by n0 equal to 1 by 2 whole power n. There is a shortcut formula where n is t by t half. After time t, where t equal to n half-lives, after 1 half-life or after 2 half-lives or after 3 half-lives, that is n. After n half-lives, what is the number of atoms undecayed? Or even they can ask the activity also, like A also you can write it as A0 into e power minus lambda t, because n equal to n0 e power minus lambda t, then you can get this also. So this way the question can be asked based on this radioactivity, like how many atoms are left undecayed after time t. Sometimes they can also ask number of atoms undergone decaying. That means n0 were there, n remain undecayed, so n0 minus n means what? Number of atoms undergone decay process. They decayed already, this many. This many were there, this many remaining, this much got decayed. Now here t half, what is t half? Time taken to reduce the value to half. That means n equal to n0 into e power minus lambda t. Then n will become n0 by 2, n0 by 2 after a time minus lambda t half. So that here 2 equal to e power lambda t half it will become, if you cross multiply it. Then if you apply ln 2 base e equal to ln e power lambda t half into base e, then this will become multiplier. So lambda t half into ln e base e 1, log e base e also 1. So this t half formula is ln 2 base e by lambda, or else this is 0.693 by lambda. This is the half-life formula for a radioactive element. Similarly, when you consider average life, total average life of a, the formula is 1 by lambda. This also you will remember it. So total average, if you take for any radioactive element, the average life of a radioactive element is 1 by lambda. So based on these formulas also the questions can be asked. But sometimes the questions can be asked based on the manipulation of these equations. Those all examples will try to see and will try to understand. So this is how the question can be asked based on the radius or size of the nuclei or composition of nuclei and types of nuclei and what is the density or volume of nuclei or what is the mass defect of nuclei, what is the binding energy of the nucleus and what is the fission and fusion based on that, what is the Q value released in a particular reaction, whether it is fission or fusion or any reaction, and what is the radioactive decay law. So what is alpha decay, beta decay based on that, and based on the radioactive decay law, also based on the half-life. So all these types the question can come. So let us try to understand few questions based on that so that you get better idea about solving numericals based on whatever we have discussed. Right? Thank you so much.
Nuclei depends on mass number as A power 1 by 3, where R equal to R naught A power 1 by 3. R naught is a constant 1.2 Fermi meter. Now here one nucleus is this one, another is this one, where mass numbers are 27 and 125. Now we have to find the radius of this tellurium. So now radius for Te by radius phi aluminum equal to A for tellurium by A for aluminum whole power 1 by 3. That means 125 by 27 whole power 1 by 3. This I can write it as 5 by 3 whole cube whole power 1 by 3. So 3 cancel. So 5 by 3. So what is the answer will come? B. This is the very first kind of question they can ask in the nuclei part. That is the comparison of nuclei. The comparison of nuclei between, the comparison of radii between two nuclei. Now, here the question is the proper symbol of nucleus means ZXA, where Z is number of protons or electrons. So number of electrons, neutrons and protons in a species are equal to 10, 8, 8 respectively. So the proper symbol of the species is here 10 electrons and 8 neutrons and 8 protons. Generally, here 8 protons means actually 8 electrons should be there. But 10 electrons are there means additional 2 more electrons they have added. But atomic number is how much? 8 only. So 8 O, but extra 2 electrons are there. That's why here we are writing -2 or 2 minus. So what is the mass number, number of protons plus number of neutrons? That is 8 plus 8, 16. So 8O 16, but in that 2 minus. So that way you need to understand the question. Now this is another question. That is if the nucleus. So again they are comparing same thing. So this is again similar kind of question. So directly you can take it like R2 by R1 equal to A2 by A1 whole power 1 by 3. Now, volume occupied by an atom is greater than the volume of the nucleus. See, radius of the atom is of the order angstrom, that is 10 power minus 10 meter. Radius of the nucleus is of the order of Fermi meter, that is 10 power minus 15 meter. So, radius of atom is 10 power 5 times approximately radius of nucleus. But volume is proportional to r cube because spherical shape 4 by 3 pi r cube. So here volume of atom is like 10 power, then cube means 10 power pi whole cube means 10 power 15 times volume of nucleus. So they are asking the comparison between size of atom and nucleus. Now, as I said, so few questions will be asked based on the binding energy or Q value of the reaction, where Q value means binding energy of products minus binding energy of reactants. But here in the question, they have given binding energy per nucleon of lithium and helium. So per nucleon they have given. But lithium means there are 7 nucleons. So what is the binding energy for nucleon Li? Lithium will become is 7 into 5.6. And binding energy of helium, if you consider 4 nucleons are there, so 4 into 7.06. Now here Q value means this binding energy, that means 2 into binding energy of helium minus binding energy of lithium, that is Q value. But here 1H1 is also there, but they have not given in the data anything about proton. That's why you neglect it. But actually, if they give some data about that binding energy also you should include. But here they did not mention, means in some questions they mention like that. So then you have to understand that that is negligible almost. So that's why you need to understand in that particular manner. Now, this is how you can calculate the energy released or Q value of a nuclear reaction. Now here they have given one 8O17. That means 8 protons and 9 neutrons, because neutrons means A minus Z. Now binding energy means actual mass minus the calculated mass. Calculated mass means what? The difference. That is 8 protons. So 8 into MP plus how many neutrons? 9. 9 into Mn. This is the mass defect into C square. So option B is correct. So this is the binding energy of this particular nucleus. Now here one more reaction they have given, assuming that about 20 mega electron volt energy is released per fusion reaction. As we discussed, based on these reactions, the questions can come like fusion and fission reactions. So where they have given one reaction and each fission reaction is giving 20 mega electron volt energy. Then the mass of 1H2 consumed per day in a fusion reactor of power 1 milliwatt. So we need to find the mass of 1H2 consumed, mass of 1H2 consumed per day, the two per day in a fusion reactor of power 1 milliwatt, 1 megawatt. So the power value, how much they have given? 1 megawatt means 10 power 6 watt. Now per fusion means for one H2, for one 1H2, how much energy is coming? 20 mega electron volt. That means 20 into 10 power 6 into 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 joules. So this much of energy is coming from 1H2. Now, here we need to get this much of power. So power equal to energy by time. So energy equal to power into time. So what is the total energy we get in one day is power into time is 1 hour means 24 hours into 60 into 60. So this is the total energy. So this is the total energy we get in one day. Suppose let's say M mass is consumed. So 1H2, 1 if it consumes this much of energy will come. Then how much mass should consume to get this much? So that particular thing you need to understand here so that you can get the question. Now, here, what is the one thing you need to understand here is 1H2 means 2 gram. That is 1 mole. So that means here 6 into 6.023 into 10 power 23 atoms. This much of atoms means 2 gram. But here, first of all, we need to find how many 1H2 atoms are required to produce this much of energy. Then what you will calculate here for 1H2, how much energy will come if you multiply, that is 32 into 10 power some minus 13. So now the number of atoms required means this total energy by this one. This is per fusion. So how many fusions are required means this total by this one fusion. So then you will get number of fusions. That means number of 1H2 atoms which undergoes fusion reaction. Then what you will do is these many number means 2 gram means this much of number means how much mass. So the calculation is bit difficult. See here first you have to calculate what is the total energy required, that is P into T. Now what is the total energy which is coming in each fusion? So that the power equal to N into E by T. So this is the formula. So that the number of fusions we will get it, that is nothing but number of 1H2 atoms we will get. Then we will take 6.023 into 10 power 23 means 2 gram, and whatever number will come for these many atoms, what is the mass? Then you will get the total mass which must be consumed per day to give the required amount of energy. So this way you can try to understand the questions, bit difficult questions, bit lengthy questions based on fusion as well as fission. Now here one question based on fission reaction. The energy released by the fission of one uranium atom is 200 mega electron volt. The number of fission per second required to produce 3.2 watt of power is. Now here again same thing. So the power equal to N into E by T. So now the power is given and energy per each fission they have given, but it is in mega electron volt and per second. So time is 1 second, then you can find N value. So N equal to PT by E. So this way you can understand. Even the next question is also same thing. So they are asking this much of energy should be produced in 1 second time. Then how many number of fissions should undergo? Where 200 mega electron volt energy is releasing per fission reaction. So such kind of questions they can ask based on the fission or fusion reaction. So remember this formula. Power equal to number of fission or fusion into energy released per fission or fusion by time. Now, next question, if you consider atomic mass of and its mass number and 1 AMU energy is 931, binding energy of the neutrons present in the nucleus. So binding energy means the mass difference, this much of AMU is there. Now here how many nucleons are there? 13. So 13 AMU. So what is the difference will become? 13.00335 minus 13. So the 0.00335 AMU. So this is the mass defect. Now what we want is for 1 AMU this much of energy, for this much of AMU what is the total energy. So you will take cross multiply, like 1 AMU means 931 mega electron volt, then 0.00335 means how much energy. Then if you cross multiply it, then you will get the total energy. Now as we discussed the radioactive decay, where alpha decay, beta decay happens. Now first Z92 is there. Now 92. See here there is a series of continuous. Now what you do is when they are given like this, you first count all alpha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 alpha means the atomic number decreases by 2. Now here 8 are there means due to alpha the atomic number decreases by 2. And then look at beta minus, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So beta minus means the atomic number increases by 1. That means 4 are there, so plus 4. Now look at beta plus 1, 2. So beta plus means atomic number decreases by 1. So 2 are there, minus 2. Then if you calculate, that is 92. 92 minus 2, 90 minus 16 plus 4 minus 12. So 78. So this is the answer. This way. They can also ask mass number. But when they are asking mass number, beta emission does not affect. Only alpha emission affect it. Now this way also they can ask question based on alpha beta decay. Now let's take a radioactive sample at any instant has its disintegration rate 5000 disintegrations per minute. After 5 minutes, the rate is 1250 disintegrations per minute. Then the decay constant per minute is. The radioactive sample at any instant has its disintegration rate. That means A value. Now after 5 minutes, the rate is 1250. So A equal to A naught into e power minus lambda t. Then decay constant they are asking. Now the A value became 1250 where it is initially 5000 e power minus lambda after 5 minutes 5. Now this if you solve it 1250 by 5000 0 0 cancel 500 then 5 2s are 5 5s are so 25 4s are equal to e power minus 5 lambda. Now you bring this side 1 by e power minus 5 lambda equal to 4. So this if it goes up e power 5 lambda, then you apply log or ln both sides. Ln 4 equal to ln e power 5 lambda. Ln means base e. So here 5 lambda into ln e base e it will become. So that is 5 lambda because ln e base e or ln x base x is always 1. Now ln 4 means I can write it as 2 square. So this will become ln 2, 2 ln 2. So that lambda will become 2 ln 2 by 5 and 2 by 4 means 0.4. So this way the question can be asked based on the radioactivity. What is the activity after some time? What are the number of atoms undecayed? after some time. So those things also they can ask. One of the very important topic, and many times they have asked question based on this. Now, here a nucleus emits one alpha particle and two beta minus particles, the resultant nucleus. So NXM emits one alpha particle, so it will become N minus 2 and M minus 4. Now it is emitting two beta minus. Beta minus means only atomic number changes, that too that increases by 2. So here N minus 2 means plus 2. So N minus 2 plus 2 N. So N, this is same X M minus 4. Or you can take yes. So what is the answer here? N X M minus 4. Why I have taken again X? Because here atomic number N, here also N. So atom should remain same. That's why X and X. Now, the fraction of the initial number of radioactive nuclei which remain undecayed after half of a half-life of the radioactive sample. See here, number of atoms undecayed formula I have given as 1 by 2 whole power T by T half. Where they are telling time is half of half-life. That means T by T half is 1 by 2. So this one, I have given this formula already. So N by N naught equal to 1 by 2 whole power 1 by 2. That means 1 by root 2. So N equal to N naught by root 2. So what fraction? 1 by root 2. So this way they can ask you the question, as I said, the formula like N by N naught or M by M naught or A by A naught is 1 by 2 whole power N, where N is T by T half, where T is after some time T and T half is half-life. And here one more reaction they have given. Here Z became Z plus 1. That means minus beta. Or here in the option they did not mention minus beta plus beta. Then as I said, you simply remember beta. Then here Z plus 1 became Z minus 1 means Z plus 1 minus 2. So minus 2 happens only when alpha particle emits. Then Z minus 1 remains same. That means gamma only atomic number changes, and alpha means both changes. Gamma means no change in atomic and mass number. Now if you take the next question, two radioactive samples A and B have decay constant 6 lambda and 2 lambda respectively. If initially they have the same number of nuclei, then the ratio of the number nuclei A to that of B will be 1 by E after a time. So after what time the ratio will become 1 by E, they are telling. So two radioactive samples A and B have decay constant 6 lambda and 2 lambda. Now they have the same number of nuclei initially. Let's take initially N naught at T equal to 0. Now after some time, now the number of atoms per A is Na equal to N naught e power minus lambda. Lambda is 6 lambda T. And Nb is N naught e power lambda is 2 lambda. Now the ratio of Na and Nb is 1 by E, they are telling. That means Na is N naught e power minus 6 lambda T. By Nb, N naught e power minus 2 lambda T. So N naught cancel. Implies 1 by E equal to, this you take to denominator. So E power 6 lambda T, E power minus 2 lambda T. So it will become E power 4 lambda T. So if you compare both sides E powers, then 4 lambda T equal to 1. Then T equal to 1 by 4 lambda. So this way, here the question is based on manipulation of equation. So after what time the ratio of number of atoms of A material to B material becomes 1 by E. They are asking like this. Now, two radioactive substances A and B have decay constant phi lambda and lambda. Now the ratio of O. Here same thing again, but just they are asking 1 by E whole square. So again Na by Nb, but that is now here 1 by E whole square, nothing but 1 by E square. Where Na means N0 into E power minus phi lambda T and Nb is N0 into E power lambda T, because here lambda for B, phi lambda for A. Now again if you solve this one, then 1 by E square will become, here if it come down, E power 4 lambda T. That means 2 equal to 4 lambda T. So T equal to 2 by 4 lambda, that is 1 by 2 lambda. Now it is reduced to half, double the of initial one. Now one more such question. The half-life of radioactive substance is 30 minutes. The time taken between 40% decay and 85% decay. So how to find this one? Let's take a t equal to 0 n naught. Then after time t1, they became suppose n1, which is 40% means 40 by 100 of n naught. Now after time t2, n2 it became, which is 85% of initial one. So n1 by n2 is 40%, that means 0.4. That is e power minus lambda t1. Now n2 by n0 is, this is 0.85 e power minus lambda t2. Now they are asking the time taken means t2 minus t1, because 0 to t1 1 and 0 to t2 another one. So 0 to t1 it became 40%, 0 to t2 it became 85%. But they are asking from 40 to 85 means t2 minus t1 you have to find. Then how do you find this one? If you divide both equations, then you will get the answer. So this way you can understand and you can solve the question. So understand the question, understand the condition and try to make the equation, then you can solve the question. Now the half value period, half life of a radioactive is 3 hours. So in 9 hours its activity will be, so A by A naught equal to 1 by 2 whole power n, where n is what I said, t by t half. So 1 by 2, t is after 9 hours, where t half is 3. So 1 by 2, 9 by 3, 3, that means 1 by 8. So A by A naught will become 1 by 8. So it reduces by a factor of 1 by 8. Now, one more question is there. One more question. The half-life of a radioactive isotope X is 20 years. It decays to another element Y, which is stable. The two elements X and Y were found to be in the ratio 1:7 in a sample of a given rock. The age of the rock is estimated to be. Now X is dividing into or disintegrating into Y. Now the two elements X and Y were found to be in the ratio. That means mass of X and mass of Y is 1/7 at a particular time. So what is that time? Means what is the age? Age nothing but some time, after some time. So after how much time? So the ratio will become like this. So initially, if you consider the total mass is M, so mx plus my is M. Now at that instant, mx by my is 1/7 means mx is my by 7. So my by 7 plus my equal to m. That means 8 my by 7 equal to m. So my is 7m by 8. That means here 7 by 8 mass is converted into y. That means how much of x left? Total is m. Out of total, the y became this much. So what is the remaining? M by 8. That means 1 by 8 reduced. It reduced to 1 by 8. So to reduce 1 by 8, what is the time taken they are asking, right? So m by m naught equal to 1 by 2 whole power n, where m is m by 8 by m. So m cancel 1 by 8. 1 by 8 I can write it as 1 by 2 whole cube. That means if you compare both sides, n is 3. That means t by t half is 3. So the time is 3 times t half. Where t half here is given is 20 year. They have mentioned here 20 year. So 3 into 20, 60 years. So this way questions can come. Please understand and try to practice. Now one last and final question. A radioactive nucleus of mass number A initially at rest emits an alpha particle. So one atom is there, ZXA. Now it emits an alpha particle means its mass will become Z minus 2 into Y A minus 4, where alpha particle means 2 helium 4. Then recoil speed of the daughter nuclei. See, initially at rest means linear momentum 0. Now one mass is A minus 4 and that is the daughter nucleus. Let's take that velocity is V dash plus alpha particle mass is 4 and that speed is V. So this is the linear momentum of daughter nuclei. This is the linear momentum of alpha particle. But that is after explosion. But the linear momentum must be conserved here because there are no external forces. So initial linear momentum 0 means final linear momentum also 0. So that V dash equal to minus 4V by A minus 4. So magnitude is 4V by A minus 4. So they tried to connect between conservation of linear momentum and here radioactive decay. So this is how the different type of questions can come based on the binding energy, radius or size of the nucleus, and fission and fusion and radioactivity and alpha beta decay, all those things. So please try to practice all these things.